Nobody wanted the bouquet that my ex gave, so I just threw it down the
Michi is heartless.
No. Let's keep trying. Like, okay. Let's be honest and really talk about it. But by then it's too late, lah. You know.
Like even if your head knows that okay, there's a lot of red flags, there's a lot of things that it's not gonna work out. But the heart is like, but I love him. I found out on Google that there are top 5 reasons on why people break up. Number 1, poor communication skills. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. And then long distance, no emotional connection, money troubles, and infidelity. Mm. So what do y'all think about it?
I had one relationship where I just felt that my ex was just sucking my energy. On one hand, when I entered the relationship, I knew that she was more into me than I was into her.
Oh.
So I think there was like a imbalance already in a relationship. But I also felt comforting, to have someone to speak to at night and to go out with. But I as time went by, I just got really tired. She wanting to, talk on the phone every night, wanting to, because I'm someone who needs my me time, right? And so without that, I get very antsy. And I would, this is quite bad, but there'll be times that I would be on a call with her and I'll put my earphones in.
What?
And then my headphones were connected to my computer.
What?
And I was playing Dota.
I knew it. Oh my gosh.
And then you have the periodic.
Yes, correct. Yeah. Asking questions here and there just to please her, but I also in a way it was me trying to find my time in the midst of that lah.
Wait, so were you the one that initiated the breakup?
Yeah, I was.
So you broke up face to face. How did she?
I don't know. I cried.
Oh, you cried?
Of course, yeah.
Wait, why?
So, you have break up some after like a year or two.
But then at night you don't listen to her, like.
Still sad.
Okay, so I honestly only been in one serious relationship. But as I grew, when I was in secondary school, I got into a lot of flings, puppy dog relationships. So it wasn't so serious. So I'll often, I'll be
Puppy love.
Yeah, puppy love, yeah. Puppy love, oh my gosh, yeah, puppy love. Then I'll get into a relationship with them. A few months later, then I will break up with them through text before they break up with me. Because I realized that because of my upbringing and my family story, basically my parents were separated. I was longing for love and attention, that kind of thing. So before the other person can hurt me, I will pull the plug. Yeah, end it first.
But why would you choose to do it over text?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I didn't
convenient,
think much. Yeah, convenient. I was like, okay, I'll just end. Then some of them will text back and say, why, what happened? I thought we were going well. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah.
You mean none of them stalked you or came to your house or wait at your school or?
One came and then I think it was Valentine's Day or near our anniversary or something like that. But he made 99 roses and then accompanied with one real rose. Then he gave it to me, right, outside my school, my secondary school. Then I remember going back to class, I asked if anybody wanted it. I know, it was very bad, very rude. Okay, I wasn't thinking, I was very immature last time.
Oh, man.
But then I remember going back home, right, because nobody wanted the bouquet that my ex gave. So I just threw it down the
Michi is heartless.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. I was very immature. Yeah. But I've grown a lot.
So what triggers that you are done mode?
I don't know. Out of the blue, just suddenly okay.
Bored.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, bored maybe.
But you mentioned that you would want to break up before the other person initiates. So you already kind of know that it's not going to last.
Yeah, correct. I wasn't in it for a long-term relationship, I guess. Yeah, I didn't talk so much.
So I realized I have this tendency normally, right, of cutting people off before they can hurt me also. The same way. But then when it comes to relationships, I'm not there.
Oh.
I cannot. I can't. I'm the kind, I will fight for the relationship.
Wow.
Until the end.
Wow, not bad.
Yeah, as long as you're fighting, I'm fighting all the way. And then I realized after that even when the person stopped fighting, I still fight. So I don't know why it's so different also. But I'm not the one who initiates breakup. I cannot. So I feel like that's a red/beige flag of me, right? That I'm so loyal. I will fight all the way. But then it's like to the extent where I think it's bad for me. It's like the hate and the heart thing, right? Like even if your hate knows that okay, there's a lot of red flags, there's a lot of things that it's not gonna work out. But the heart is like, but I love him.
The girl
How about
who
you, Keith?
dated another girl eventually. That's
Oh, she features.
Wait, what?
Further down the line. Further down. No, okay, we dated for like 2 months. And I thought it was very good. Everything very good. You know, that. Then suddenly, cannot. Yeah, okay, sad. But then after that, less than a month later, a friend of mine was like, bro, you go to this, we were in poly at this time, go to design school, this staircase. Then I knew which one. Went there and then found her kissing another girl. And eventually they were together for a couple of years.
Wow.
Yeah. And then they broke up and we got together. So, yeah.
What?
So we did get
Work
together.
together.
You gotta get with the ex.
Yeah. With that girl who was.
With the girl who was kissing
Why
another
would you
girl.
still get together with her?
Yeah, exactly.
Why? Great question. But she's a very nice person.
See, you are a red flag of
Why? No, it was
So you
there. Why
dated
she
girl
told me.
A, girl A, went to date girl B, then you
Yeah.
date girl B.
No. Girl
met
A and girl B broke up.
They
Then
go back
girl
to-
A.
Like he went to girl B.
No lah, what is this strange love triangle?
But you go back together with her.
With girl A.
Why?
Yes.
Means you all were still friends lah.
Yeah, we were, but then not close or anything. But
So how do you end things with her?
wait, girl A?
Yeah.
No,
go
she
on.
ended things with me.
She ended things with you. So how do you cope?
The first or the second time?
The second time. The first has been the first I wouldn't consider a breakup lah because it was just
Time
like,
out. Just some time out.
Okay,
But there
we're not
wasn't a
dating anymore.
conversation, man, before she started date girl B.
Nope. It's just like,
Fizzle out.
I don't think we can be dating anymore. And then she gave me the unequally yoked answer. She was part of this church, and then they have this thing where, you have to be yoked, equally yoked. That means you're from the same community, same church.
That's the first time I'm
So
hearing
she
something
said,
like that. Okay.
we are unequally yoked because we're Christians of different
I think I
faith.
don't get-
So I was like, what?
Oh.
What? Okay. I thought it was a weird reason, but just left it because we went together for very long. And then after that, found out she was together with someone else. Now like, okay. I suppose this yoke is fine, but whatever.
Yoke she wants.
It's funny.
then eventually, she broke up with this her partner, and then we got together. We started dating again, and then got together. And then 2 years later, then when she broke up,
2 years later.
yeah.
What
The reason for
reason?
this
Yeah.
breakup was quite clear to, I think both of us will willingly admit that we struggled to be truly vulnerable in the relationship. So we both had been in one relationship prior, and for us that ending that relationship, respectively for us was very, very painful. So much so that when we came into this relationship together, it was as if that we don't want to let it go, we won't make the same mistakes kind of thing. But we struggle to be really vulnerable because we just want to protect this good thing that we have, and just didn't want to let it go. So when it came time, I also felt like things, I'm not sure really how this is really going to go, but it's still something loving, I suppose. And then when she initiated it, I was like, no, let's keep trying. Like, okay, let's be honest and really talk about it. But by then it's too late lah. I will admit that I still did think that I think still got hope lah, this relationship. I think still got hope. So I did try. I remember around Christmas time, because that's the season of love, and I felt like we broke it up like maybe 3 or 4 months before. And then I was like, I think still can. Let me write a nice long message. And so I sent her the message, and she had obviously moved on by then because she replied and said, thank you, I do miss what we had in our relationship as well, but I'm afraid we really have to move on. And then it was that, and I was like, okay, that's it. I'll try it.
I think especially the earlier on relationships, because I've always been someone who really longs to be loved, right? So when a person like draws that line with me, then so malu to say it, but like I really saw myself as like a little puppy dog, like just love me, that kind of thing. So I think for a period of time I will be there, like making myself available and wanting to be loved. But then as I matured in faith, then I think I also reached a point where there was one particular incident I remember. Because in the relationship that I had with this individual, right, I didn't realize that when we had our fights that I was walking away, like physically walking away. And it never occurred to me that it was a problem. It never occurred to me that I was doing that also. I thought the person pointed it out to me and I was like, okay, don't do such a thing. It's so bad, right? And this person never did it to me at all. But then after we broke up, then there was one day I was going to meet him and we fought along the way, blah, blah, blah. And then he walked away from me.
Oh, wow.
My heart shattered. I told you.
Oh, wow.
I remember standing at the traffic light, right? And I just
traffic
cried.
light.
And then he walked,
Oh,
he just
light.
walked.
Wow, that's so
Then I was
crazy.
like, I don't know what to do. So I stood there for a while, then I don't know what to do, right?
Wow.
Then the next traffic light, I go in to find him. I couldn't find him. He left already.
Oh.
I know. Then I really cried. I really cried in public. Then after that, I think I didn't know where to go, really. And that was actually the moment where I knew I only have God. There's no one else I have. So I cried, right? Run to Edo and cry.
Oh,
The whole night I
wow.
just sit and cry. Yeah.
Wow.
Hello. That's what I did.
So are you friends with your exes now? Or like what's the interactions like with your exes?
Barely. Non-existent.
So you because recently I did a research, right? Whether like you can be friends with your exes. And then online, right, they didn't really give me a definite answer. And I realized that I guess there's no right or wrong. But it all depends on the individual. So what are your thoughts about that?
So after we broke up, this was when I was also studying overseas, so I didn't have family or many friends there. We were still friends, I think I needed that friendship. So at least for the year or a few months that I was still in Melbourne, she was still a friend, and then when I came back to Singapore, then eventually we drifted apart.
That's very interesting. Like how will you know that a person is better off as friends than rather like your partner?
I think for me, at least I'm guessing for her, so after we break up, without all that things that come along with relationship, we got along very well, even after we had broken up. But while we were together, firstly we wanted different things.
All different values.
And values, because she wasn't Catholic, that's for one.
Okay.
And then, just with all the intimacy comes also a lot of hurts lah. So with all that taken out of the picture, we were good as friends lah.
Okay, so afterwards you guys were still friends now.
Yeah.
I, for one, will never, okay, well, not never, but I hardly remain friends with my ex. And yeah, whether or not I am the one breaking up with them or the other one breaking up with me, I just think like that season of life is ended. So let's just move on to a new season.
So that's an active decision on your part, lah.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
I think like that's the only thing I know how to do. Yeah.
We
I
move
think,
on.
yeah, like just to cut off all ties and then just move on. I think like sometimes don't have to try so hard. Like when it's over, then like just move on lah. But of course, in that sense, to let the person down gently.
Yeah.
So I did have something similar where I met up with the ex after some months because of my birthday, and he gave me a gift.
Yeah.
But I absolutely hated it, and then I was like,
You hated the gift?
yeah.
Like
So I was like,
objectively hated it or because
objectively. Yeah, so then after that, I asked for the receipt, and I was like, can I just change it because I really don't like it.
wow.
Yeah, but it's just like you don't try, like you just really be who you are, and if really you just cannot be friends, then just let it go, then move on, So I only have one ex who is like friend.
Oh, wow.
And I think that's like really in that sense because we were in the same community.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was like, we didn't want to leave the community. So we had to learn how to,
Yeah. Was that very hard to be in the same community as your ex?
Yes, I think we go through different parts of it also. Like I think at first it will come like maybe the grief or like anger. It depends on how you broke off, right? And then maybe some sort of sadness, and then come to a point of acceptance. I think it's that whole process. And then until ultimately you can just look at each other and go, you know what, it's over, but we can still be civil and we can still work together. Yeah, but I think it's a process to work out.
So I have been in situations, right, where my ex and I were in the same community and then broke up.
Oh.
But we didn't do like the rotation thing, we just
Okay.
continue to go lor. But
Wow.
it was tough,
Yeah,
especially on my
right.
part because he was someone who decided that like he needs to cut the relationship, right? And I'm sure he still had feelings and all that. still loved me, and obviously I also did, but it was tougher, I would think, on my part. Yeah, so I remember like the first few times when you go community and I see him, and then you know like he'll be hanging out with people, and then obviously like on my part I'll be like, I wish I could be there with him, right, spending time with him. So it was very triggering every time I go there, and sometimes I would choose not to go because it's too triggering, but it's not that we make an arrangement or whatever. We just continue to exist in the circle. So, yeah.
Then how long did it take for you to be okay to be in the same space as him?
Be okay, as in not break down.
Yeah, not break down. You
Why, I
feel
don't know,
fine, you know.
Well, I really don't know.
Wow.
Because the grieving period actually was very long for me.
Wow.
Yeah, also because, I mean, context, right? He chose to end the relationship to pursue priesthood. Wow. So there was that sort of struggle, right? Of the feelings are still there, right? The love is still there, and we know that we still care for each other, but it cannot happen. Yeah, so yeah, lor. That's why it took very long for me to wrestle with God. This whole thing of like getting over him. And so the good thing about him is that every now and then, right, when I mean, there was still a lot of like unanswered questions of all the whys, even though objectively I know he don't have the answer, right? But then I still have the whys and I need to be heard. So like sometimes I'll ask to like chat with him and he'll meet me in chat.
Oh wow.
Yeah, whole space. Wow. So I guess that was like the important part of it. And also because I think even while we were together, like we had already established that no matter what happens, we treasure the friendship.
So you guys are still friends?
Yeah, we still are friends.
Wow.
Yeah, so even up to this day, when there are things that I feel I cannot share with a lot of people, but with him, I can share.
So how do you actually transition from being in a relationship with someone and then after that break up already, but then still can become close friends?
I mean, like I said, right, I think what helps is both of us had an understanding that the friendship is what's important to us, no matter what happens. I do think the constant check-ins helped a lot. Like knowing that we still care for each other, we still have the capacity to hold space for each other. And I also journeyed quite closely with one of the mentors in my community who helped me like sort of like unpack things and see where God is in the situation. And I think because for me, the main, one of the key struggles I had was this like tension between God and I, and feeling like he didn't want me to be happy, right? Like, why would you give me someone and then remove that person away and like leave me all alone? So I felt like I was in competition with God, but I needed to like learn to see him in a different light, even though this broken relationship continues to exist. So it was really a lot of like healing on my part, like the inner work, and obviously like he also, and like coming to accept. But it really took very long. Like, I think 5 years.
5 years?
5 years.
Gosh.
No, for me to say I'm done. There's no more hope. Because I think like you can say you're done and like you have accepted that the relationship is ended, but like for me, I just felt like I cannot enter a new relationship if secretly I still have hope.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. So
It's not fair to the new guy lah, whoever that is.
So within that 5 years, you're still hoping that maybe somehow you guys would get back together.
I think, I mean, I don't know whether the full 5 years, but at least we are the first 3 years, 3 to 4 years. And then the fifth year was when I knew for sure there was nothing. Like, he was still a very dear friend of mine, but like, I also came to see that even if he was not going to continue pursuing priesthood, right, I have changed and he has changed. So, I mean, just because we were once together, we were once like attracted to one another, doesn't mean we're going to be attracted to one another now, because we're different people now. Yeah, so 5 years until I was really like, done, time to move on.
As someone who has been on the other end, as in initiating a breakup because of a potential call to religious life, I'd say it's also very difficult in our position, you know, because at least in my case, when I entered into a relationship with my ex, at that point, I can safely say that I didn't really have, or I didn't have any desire for religious life or priestly life, you know. There wasn't any particular stirring in my heart. And I thought marriage was what I was called to. That was, in a way, the default also. And yeah, so got together with, at the time, my best friend. And, you know, we were having conversations also along the way in our relationship that, yeah, we were looking forward to getting married because there was no other alternative for me, so to speak. But along the way, just in the year that we were together, especially in the second half of that year, I started to feel, stirrings, a certain attraction to the priesthood and to the Jesuits also. And I found it a bit tricky, like, okay, what do I do with this? Do I go for like a vocation retreat and at the same time still be in a relationship? Like, how do I negotiate this, And I was open with my ex about it. And she was like, okay, continue to discern, continue to be open. I'm not sure what else she could have said in that situation, but I did feel supported in a sense. But I think she kind of also knew towards the end that, I think I'm losing him in a way, because that stirring or the attraction started to feel more and more intense. I started having conversations with some of my mentors, my SD, about it, and they all, well, I wouldn't say it was their advice that, okay, you'd best end it, but they said, it's better to be really honest, which I think I was, and at the same time, it's maybe better to not let it drag out so much also, if you really feel like you need to explore more intentionally, which I eventually did. So broke up. I had that conversation with her, and it was really, really difficult. And she could tell because I was crying also, which I think helps in some way.
So on that note, like, what are some takeaways or lessons that you guys have learned through your breakups?
So I used to jump from one relationship to the next, right? And it was really at this confession where this priest told me, like, you really need to just take time out and not be in another relationship. And just really think about what you want and who are you in that sense, and to learn how to love yourself first. And I think that reminder or that revelation in that sense really helped me to be single for about 2 years and to really be okay with that singlehood, and to really learn more about myself, like what are my values, what I really want in the next person that I date and possibly like marry, right? And not to just continue blindly date and just just settle for anyone. So I felt like it helped me to recognize who I was and who my partner should be, or to have that kind of a vision in that sense. The downside of the impact was that one of my ex-boyfriends cheated on me. So I think then it led me into a lot of situationships. And I think I was just trying to process that rejection, that anger, right? And I think that was the part where I did not allow myself to really process that some sort of trauma in that sense. And I think I was in situationships for about 2 years until I suddenly snapped out of it and said, enough is enough. Like, I don't have to do this to myself, to feel loved, to feel wanted, to feel belong. And so I think the good thing that came out from that is that, then I learned how to cherish myself, to learn how to love myself once again, to see that I'm worthy of love as well in a proper way. So
For me, as a breakupper, what I've learned through that journey of being so immature and breaking people's hearts before they broke mine is that at the end of the day, people have dignity, and as for me, if I were to initiate a breakup, one thing that I will learn is to not take being in a relationship for fun, and to always caution the breakup, because at the end of the day, all of us are human beings, and the way that we treat each other is very important. And even though the person may not be for you, may not be the right person for you, doesn't mean that the other person may not be the right person for someone else. Your ex or your partner that's left you should be in a better state or should be a better person than they were with you. So that means when they get into their next relationship, they should be a better 增up version of themselves. Yeah. I was okay, that always is something that I'm reminded of.
For me, I think the one thing that stuck with me, or the one image that stuck with me during the breakup process, was that I can love again. Yeah, I think because there was so much emotions involved, it really felt like I cannot love someone else the way that I love this person. ever again. I mean, because like when you've been in a relationship for a certain period of time, you start to dream, right, about the future, how marriage should look like and things like that. So I think the grieving wasn't just grieving the relationship, but grieving what you hope for in your future. So yeah, but then I think stepping out of the breakup, I felt like God was showing me that I have capacity to love again and to be loved again. Yeah, and that like my life or my future isn't just going to look like how it was at the point of the grieving lah. You know, it wasn't just going to be bleak.
What are some practical ways to break up?
To break
Or
up.
like to cope with
To
breakup?
cope with breaking up.
Yeah.
Friends, I think we've all shared about
Yeah.
friends, right? Having friends to pull you out of that place of self-pity. I suppose exercise and just getting on with life. Yeah, really helped me lah. That's speaking from myself.
But then I would say for friends, good friends also, because I some friends, at a particular point in my life, you know, when break up already, then they, okay, let's go drink, you know. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. I do enjoy a drink or two. But then, you know, sometimes when you drink, your logic and reasoning a bit hazy, lah, you know. And then I'm like, I think I'll message her.
Yeah.
And then they're like, yeah, you should. I send one message, and I'm like, and next day I wake up and I'm like, why did I do that?
So you did it?
Yeah. What? I have done it in those kind of situations. And I'm like, what a stupid friends. That kind of thing. So it has to be good friends who like, hey, don't do anything stupid now. That kind of thing. Yeah. Who have to remind you also of the wisdom to your decision.
I think important to have things to look forward to also, like key events or whatever, right? To be excited about. If not, when you look at your schedule, then it just looks like there's nothing to look forward to. Yeah. But what I did also was pick out a new hobby.
Oh,
Yeah,
hobby.
with I went Zumba.
Oh wow, yeah, exercise.
Workout plus
Yeah.
Zumba classes. Then like cook, whatever, bake, do stuff. Yeah, feel the schedule lah. If not, the loneliness, especially at nights.
Yeah.
My loneliness is killing me. Sorry, I think that may be cut.
I think for me, it's really also to surround myself with friends. I think for me, my mom was the main person who helped me through lah. Because it's like no judgments, no like I told you so, or you know, things like that. But it's really like, I mean, that whole large part of your life is with that person, right? So it's really how you can then feel it, but not to over exert or to just like distract yourself to such a point that you don't deal with the grief. But I think it's a balance of both, right? Where you take care of yourself, but you don't spiral down as well. So I think it's that conscious effort to also ask yourself like, okay, so why am I doing this? Like, you know, and how am I like loving myself in that sense? Taking care of yourself once again. And also maybe it helps to like remember what was life before the person. Because I mean the person was never always there. So when you can kind of see that again, then you can work towards that.
So what advice would you all give to someone who wants to break up?
I would say have a post-breakup plan.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I agree.
Like you plan to have drinks with your friends after the breakup, or you go for training after you break up.
But what do you mean? What do you
Immediately
mean?
after
You still have the energy.
like I break up, okay.
Then let's go for drinks.
Conversation.
Yeah.
Then you have your friends waiting.
Yeah, somewhere.
Wait, what? Ambushed.
Not ambush, like so I have like you have somewhere to go rather than just like wallow by yourself. Because even if like that person has done all the prep, it's still very emotional moment and you need someone to process it with.
But what about her? Then she got no after party.
Then you ask the friends to also.
Actually, you are the one breaking up her, but you got planned to go process. What happened to her?
Okay, so what you're saying, Jarvis, is there are two cars waiting. Your friends
One
and
for the
her
lady,
friends,
one for the
you know,
girl, one for the
there. We need to bring her to
Both got 6-pack ready.
Oh wow.
many paddies. Oh, interesting.
But I think it's not just about the breakup lah. There's some legwork to it, I feel. Because you don't just decide one day that you don't want to be together. So I think it's really like having to communicate that, you know, and trying and giving the other person that chance also to work things out. Yeah, I think then, you know, at least you have honored that person in that way, where you give the person the chance to understand what is not working out, you know, and then to see whether there's any way to work together. Then I think it's not easy, but it will be easier that that both of you have tried and it's not working out. So let's not drag this on and just I think that would be the most ideal, I feel, when you are trying to break up. Not like suddenly don't just say. I mean, you have your reasons also, but it's just like, but why didn't you let me know? Why didn't we work this out?
It's like you don't give the person a chance to fight for it.
Going back to your point.
We understand.
No, but really, what?
Yeah. So
I would say to honor the person, definitely do it face to face.
Yeah.
And to communicate. I think you need to communicate why you want to break up with the person. I know, like when you Google search online, a lot of people will say like, oh, it's not you, it's me, that kind of thing. But yeah, people shouldn't use that excuse. I think really take the time to sit down with the person, share why maybe you want to break up and why it's not working out.
I agree totally. I find that during that time of actually breaking up, it's very difficult also to kind of think quite lucidly. Your heart rate goes up and then your brain is just starting to freak out, or at least in my case it has before. And I forget totally what I'm going to say. Yeah, so I think it just helps to convey it if you have it written down. And in terms of the reasons also, I'd say it may be brutal at times, the truth does hurt, but do your best to convey the truth with charity as best as you can in that situation. But it's better to have some sort of a reason rather than I just can't do this anymore, or no, this is it. Like I can't. Like what for the other person it's just not something that they can work with. That is helpful for them for their closure. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Oh, I can't. What do you mean you can't? So, I'd say write it down and as best pepper or season your words with charity.
Thank you for watching today's episode of TBH. Do let us know your thoughts in the comments below and leave any suggestions for future episodes.
If you like this episode, feel free to like, share and subscribe. See you in the next one.
Bye!
I remember this joke. I just came across it 2 weeks ago and I think it's hilarious. It goes like this. My therapist asked me to write letters to all the people who have hurt me and then to burn them. So I burn them. What do I do with all the letters?